This is how most people are using ChatGPT for branding and why it looks generic. They ask for a logo, they ask for colors, and they get something, well, forgettable. In this session, I'll show you a workflow to build a full visual brand identity with AI. This is the same approach we use in real creative AI projects, and we even test a brand new AI video agent and see where it really works and, well, where it completely breaks. Join us now for another creative AI session.
Welcome everyone. Today, as you can see on my screen, we are going to be focusing on creating a visual brand identity and strong assets using AI. Now, this is a session that I love to repeat every couple of months, well, half repeat, because I think it's a wonderful workflow if you really want to use ChatGPT in a creative way, or any other LLM that you want to use. And it also is a great opportunity for me to try out some new tools as well. So demo a couple of things and show how things have progressed, different image models, as well as some other tools that have come on the market. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to bring your business idea to life with AI-powered logos, color palettes, fonts, brand tone, and a couple of extra bits as well. All right, let's get started. I'm going to show you our journey for today. So we're going to briefly talk about what visual brand identity is, why does it matter, and then we're going to jump straight into some action and we're going to build our visual brand identity in ChatGPT. So I've come up with a fun little concept today and we're going to build it out. We're going to do some brand direction prompting. We're going to get some color palettes. We're going to use the brand direction prompting and those color palettes and establish a logo that really represents the brand. Mock-ups, posters, and then the fun part is that HeyGen has just released an update of their new video agent. Essentially, you can put in a prompt and it will turn it into a ready-made video. The cool thing is that you can kind of vibe code with it in a way. So anything you don't like in the video, you can chat and say, hey, I want that changed. It's pretty good fun. And the real question is, does it work? How well does it work? And how can we make it work better? So that's what we're going to tackle today. And then at the end, of course, hopefully we have a little bit of time for some questions. So any questions you have, you can save them till the end for that point. Or if they're a burning question and you can't wait for them to be answered, or you don't want them to leave your head, do not worry. You can just write in the chat and I will get to you. Brilliant stuff. Okay, are we ready to get started? Yeah? Okay, then let's get going. All right, so firstly, why visual branding matters. What's the importance of visual branding? So a strong visual brand identity creates instant recognition in crowded markets. It builds trust and credibility with customers. It communicates your values without words, and it increases perceived value of your products and services. So 93% of purchasing decisions are influenced by visual appearance, and it really does have a huge impact on whether you get the right customer or whether you're basically saying what you're trying to say. On the side here, you can see this very colorful, gorgeous looking soda can, and this is an advertisement for a company called Poppy Soda. It's supposed to be good for your gut, and their kind of tagline here is like, be gut healthy and be gut happy. And it's a very happy design, right? It looks fun. It looks like bubbly and exciting, and it's going to make you feel happy. So it really communicates that it's just a fun, bubbly soda that's going to do something good for you. So that is really, really effective. Of course, if we were a very serious law firm and we actually specialized in making sure that people's I don't know, housing, that the housing detail was okay or something like that. If we're a very serious law firm and we take the same kind of branding here, we may look very fun, but we probably don't look very serious. And so we're not communicating the value or maybe the idea that we want. So it's really important, and it makes a huge impact. All right, so now we've established kind of what a good visual brand identity is, let's see how we can use ChatGPT to build our own brand direction. Of course, we're going to do a kind of a product today. So we're going to make something up and then we're going to build it out and sell it as if we were a company. But this is the same approach that you could use for anything. So you could use it for your own personal brand or any kind of idea where you need to get a little bit more creative and you don't know where to start. But what you do want is something super consistent that you can produce loads of different assets that all look like they're part of the same thing. So this is where this will come very useful. So today, we are going to open ChatGPT. I'm going to take you through this all in my presentation, and then we're going to go over to ChatGPT a bit later, but all of this would happen in ChatGPT. So you'd open a new chat and you would use the following prompt. So this is my prompt. You are a visual branding consultant. Ask me any questions you need from me to help me create a strong visual brand identity for my company, Hair Wash for Hamsters. I want to ultimately create a logo, a color scheme, and a communication style. So here we go. This has everything that I want to know from the ChatGPT. So important here in this prompt is that we have given it a role. So we've given it a master role here. It's a visual branding consultant. And we've also asked them to ask any questions they need from me to help create this visual identity. So we're not asking ChatGPT to come up with the creative ideas. We're not asking it to just pull whatever generic thing from the ether. We are asking it to be our sparring partner with a really good idea about branding. So that's how we can make that prompt really work for us. I also state what my company is, and then I say what I want to create: a logo, a color scheme, and a communication style. So all the questions should be surrounding that. Okay, and the bonus here is that if you create a new project in ChatGPT, and it can keep all your related chats, and you can turn on the memory function, so it'll pull the memory from those other chats. You don't need to just make a really long chat and hope for the best that it doesn't break. So that's a really good one. All right, wonderful stuff. So let's get started. We've put in the prompt, and ChatGPT offers a series of questions to help us visualize the brand identity. It says, perfect, let's build this visual brand identity together to make sure Hair Wash for Hamsters gets a logo, color scheme, communication style that really fits, and it will need to understand a couple of things. Now, it will ask you a series of questions, and the cool thing is that they're all numbered, and then they have a couple of different questions underneath. So this one is about brand essence and mission. So what is the core mission or promise for Hair Wash for Hamsters? Is it fun and playful luxury care? Is it a novelty gift, or is it serious animal wellness? Should it be fun and quirky or serious and premium? So it gives us these guiding questions, but ultimately it's up to us to really think about what we want to answer to it. And what I really like about this too is that it kind of gets your creative juices going. I think when I started thinking about a hair wash for hamsters, I had no idea, but the more questions I get, the more excited I get about this product, and the more ideas I can put into this. So wonderful. It also asks about target audience. We've got personality and tone. So if your brand were a person, how would you describe them? Should the communication style lean towards educational or witty, humorous, or cute and heartwarming? And visual preferences as well. So should it be an illustration? Should it be kind of like symbolic? Is there a specific type of typography, like the letter font? And are there any colors that I'm already thinking relate to this product? So really nice things. Brand experience and also competitor landscape, if there are any competitor brands to be aware of that we don't want to look too much alike. Okay, great. So then we get all of these questions, get the creative juices flowing, and we can start answering them. It's really nice because it's all numbered, you can just do it in one chat and put in all the information, and then you get the kind of concept back. So ChatGPT really does become a creative partner in this sense. Okay, so I had all my questions, and I've decided to answer them. Now, I've got an idea in mind for my hair wash for hamsters. So I'll go through what I've decided to put in there. So I said it's a luxury hamster product with an air of humor. It should be premium, but like 1980s premium. So I've got it in my mind that it's going to be like something like this, like a Jackie Collins novel, this kind of like glitzy glam, a little bit over the top, sparkly, a bit pastels. I put it for adult hamster owners. It's aimed at luxury pet care owners who are a little quirky but glamorous. If I had to describe it as a person, I put it as an eccentric older aunt. The communication should hold the vibe and the glamour of a Jackie Collins novel, also kind of the drama. I imagine the logo to be 1980s style luxury, luxury painted typography, soap bubbles, diamonds. I'm thinking in terms of colors, turquoise, soft pink, deep purple, and maybe light gray. I like the retro 1980s glamour, high-end Vogue aesthetic. Okay, so you can see the what I'm building here, right? People will see this in the pages of magazines, in department stores, on social media, and the website. I want it to be product driven, but also love the idea of using real hamsters in 1980s sitcom dioramas, a little bit like Sylvanian families. I don't want it to look like other shampoo brands or too modern. Okay, so you can see I've really come up with a real plan here. So let's see what happens next. Pop that into ChatGPT. And out comes our visual identity blueprint. ChatGPT thinks that we have a brilliantly clear creative direction. So now we can start building on hair wash for hamsters. So we've got the brand essence, we've got that luxury humor, 1980s premium. It's given us a palette. Really nice because it's also given us hex codes. So if we did decide to design things in other programs or make some kind of PowerPoint presentation or use Canva or any other kind of design tool that you wanted that you get to add your own colors in, it's given us those hex codes so we can go ahead and use that automatically. We can also use it in other prompts as well, and it will be specific colors. Great, I love it. So it's proposing all of this stuff to us. We've also got a logo direction, so hand-painted luxe script. With bubbles and diamonds woven into the type. And yeah, all this other stuff. The tone is over the top, glamorous or witty, dripping with indulgence. Yeah, really fun stuff. Good. Sometimes it will also give you a certain text that they think would be good, like certain fonts. And if you don't know how to test it and see if that's the font that you actually like, you can go over to Google Fonts and type it in there, and it will show you a preview of all the fonts if it mentions it. Of course, all of this, it's given back to us, and we can absolutely go in and change anything that we don't like. We have control over this. So if we didn't like the colors, we could highlight it and ask ChatGPT directly on that sentence, hey, I want to change the colors a little bit. So we've built kind of an idea of what we're building here. We've got a bit of a brand identity already. Okay, so it then asks next steps. The next steps that I actually want are to craft the perfect color palette. I want to have that
You're
locked
watching
in.
a real
Now,
session
the good
from
thing is,
Leon,
I
where
lock
AI
this in.
meets human learning.
It
Want to
means
dive
anything
deeper?
else I
You'll find
reproduce
everything
after
at
this in the same
leon.com.
chats
Links
or
in the
any other
description.
chats in the project that we've built. It's going to use these colors, and that's going to really give us that brand identity, right? That we're going to see that color and associate it with our brand. So we lock that in, and I got it to produce a nice color palette. It's got our hex codes, a nice little name for the colors, and also a visual representation of the colors as well, which is great. If we were building some style guidelines right now, we could just take that image, paste it in there, or at the end of this chat, we could ask it to make a whole PDF document about the visual branding style as well that we could hand over to designers or videographers or anything like that. Okay, wonderful. So we've got our lovely little palette here. It goes through how it would all be used as well, which is really, really handy. So where you put the accent color, where the set primary colors are, secondary colors, great stuff. Gives us some more stuff about how to use everything. So it really has built some branding guidelines for us. Okay, so now that we've got our colors in place and we have a really clear direction of who hair wash for hamsters is, we could make a logo, and we can make a logo straight into ChatGPT. If you ever tried to make a logo in ChatGPT cold, just go opening up a chat and saying, hey, create me a logo for a, I don't know, a jumpers for dogs company in pink and I don't know, green, it will come up with something quite generic unless you really go into your prompt and really build it out. The cool thing about this is we've already done the preliminary work. ChatGPT, this chat, knows exactly the direction, the vibe that we want, that we don't need to craft a really extensive prompt to get the outcome that we want. It kind of knows. So that is fantastic. So I said, using the color palette and information about my brand, can you create me a logo for my brand? And it says, absolutely. It's going to use the palette. It has an understanding of the typography style and application, as well as certain iconography that we'd already talked about, soap bubbles, diamond sparkles, and knows how it's going to interact. So I put it through and I got my absolutely fabulous, glamorous 1980s style logo. It's absolutely what I wanted. I could see this on the cover of a Jackie Collins novel. It's absolutely what I wanted. So great. These are the results. Once I have this, I can use it and I can remove the background. So simply just ask ChatGPT to make the background transparent. I can put it on to anything I want. If you want to go a step further and make it into something like a vector file, an SVG file that you can size up and size down, depending on the complexity, like how detailed the logo is, you can use the free PNG to SVG converter in Adobe Express. This is free to use, but if it gets really complicated, it doesn't really work. But I'm hoping it will get better and better over time. But that's just a quick tip in case you want to start getting into it straight away. All right, so now we've established our lovely logo, we can start getting into some other things. we can use ChatGPT or something like Nano Banana to make very, very convincing mock-ups. So we can make product packaging, mock-ups of websites or social media templates. We can make it into a sign or other promotional materials. This is something that ChatGPT and Nano Banana do really, really well. So if you want to get a small like proof of concept image, then that is the place to do it. And you've got all of this information now that you can actually just ask, hey, can you make a hat with the logo on it? Can you make something else? And it has all of this information. All right, so I've decided to make a product, and here we go. Hair wash for hamsters, beautiful. It's in keeping with the brand aesthetic that I wanted. It's very, very 1980s glamour. So it worked perfectly for my mission. All right, so using this, I can then go back into the chat and say, considering my brand vibe, can you make a 80s glamour inspired magazine page advert for this? So it comes up with a whole concept for us, and it turns it into an advert. It gives the idea it's going to be this shampoo bottle is going to have a hamster lounging on a miniature chaise longue draped in satin with a martini glass behind them, as if a mid photo shoot for Vogue. And then it's going to have diamond shapes and just, yeah, it's going to be lovely. So let's see. Now, these examples come from the previous ChatGPT image creator. So they're a little basic in comparison to the new one, but I've also done it with the new one, so you can see the comparison as well. Okay, wonderful. So here we go. This is it. Look at this gorgeous little hamster on his little sofa here, with the martini glass. It didn't quite get the bottle right. The top is a little bit different, but it added a whole bunch of text here, which does make sense. Introducing hair wash for hamsters, the ultimate indulgence for pets who refuse to settle for ordinary with a touch of turquoise glamour. Okay, so it really goes into it. This is with the previous image model. I managed to make it this bottle, and this is with the newest one. So you can see the difference in texture, in quality, and detail that has happened with that upgrade. All right, I also decided to do it for the poster as well, because why not? It went crazy for it. It really, really wanted it to be fully, yeah, the glamour was definitely there. We've got a lot of bubbles, a lot of diamonds. My hamster is spoilt for choice. She's got 2 martini glasses. Why not? Maybe that's her vibe. But yeah, so that's what we got here, and then also here as well, except this is a bit weird because there's like half of a chair into the bath, but maybe it's a special bath, who knows? Anyways, we've got this like fun style, and we can create loads of different products. I could make a bulletin board, something like that, and without having to do crazy prompts because it has all of the details already built into the chat. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to attempt was to demo HeyGen's new video agent tool. So we have the ability to create all these wonderful print materials, but what about creating a video? I just want to advert with the same ease. Can I use ChatGPT to give me a really good prompt that I can put into this video agent? And will it give me a whole video at the end? That is what we're going to test right now. So let's take a look. So I decided to use ChatGPT to come up with a video advert. There we can see, okay, it created this little hamster here who's going to talk about things. We've got a couple of other different images as well. Here she is after having used the hair wash, looking glamorous. Lovely stuff. So I want to create a short advert. Give me a telenovela style promotional advert. Says yes, exactly the right move for this brand, and gives me a outline. Actually creates a whole script for me, what the voiceover will be, what will happen in each scene, and how long that will take. Really, really fun stuff. The hamster, I think so it starts with um, a hamster in a silk robe gazes out a tiny window, rain softly streaking the glass, clearly fake, very studio. And then it's sat at a vanity, so one of these mirrors, with a towel turban perfectly wrapped, and they touch their reflection in the gold framed mirror. So this is very over the top, very fun. And so it gives me a whole script basically that I can use. So I thought I would test the new HeyGen, and I'm going to show you how this new video agent works and then all the different ways that we are going to play around with it. So if I just go back to HeyGen. HeyGen is an avatar system. It's really great. So you can use pre-made avatars. You can upload yourself and make yourself into a digital twin. But it also has the ability for you to upload photos and then add animation and action to them. So you could generate anyone. I can generate this little hamster and I can give a voice to them. That usually works really, really well here on HeyGen. The new system that they're talking about, the video agent, says that not only will it use these avatars, but you can put in literally any idea and it can generate like other clips. It can add voiceovers. It can do a whole bunch of things so that it's not just an avatar talking to the screen. It can actually act things out, or at least that's what they promise. So let's see if that works. I'll show you how you set it up. So it's just a little box like this. You have the ability to choose an avatar. So as I said, they've got a whole bunch of pre-made avatars that you can choose from. Here's a doctor. That's a little bit scary. That you can just make a doctor talk, all sorts of stuff. But you have a whole bunch of other people, influencers, anything like that, podcasters. So you can assign that. You also don't have to. You can describe your idea. So I could just say, hey, I want to make a advert for hair wash for hamsters and something brief about what I want it to do, or style. And I can also add in assets as well. So I can add in maybe a presentation and get that turned into a video. I can add a script. I can also add bits of media, so any pictures I have, stuff like that. So I put it to the test for all of you so that you know what works, what doesn't work, and how we can make it better. And I'm going to show you what happened when I first played around with this in order to make a hamster video. So once you've done this, you put it in, you go over to essentially kind of like a chat area. Let me see. So this is the first one. Um, and you can see here, I had a couple of different assets that we played around with when we were exploring with ChatGPT. So I have beautiful hamster looking into the mirror. I have this little hamster sitting on at their little vanity table. I also have the advert that we created, as well as the product and the logo. My prompt was create an advert for the latest product hair wash for hamsters because even the tiniest divas deserve the spotlight. It's bold 1980s glamour, pink, turquoise, bubbles, diamonds. The protagonist is a little glamorous hamster in a diorama world. So I give a bit of context, nothing crazy. This is just the benchmark here. And the cool thing is that it comes up with a video plan for you. Takes everything that you've put in and comes up with something that you can use. So we've got the orientation, duration, the language, and also how many credits it will use. And I can expand it here, and it gives us a script, the style, and actually breaks it down scene by scene. So it says what the hamster is actually going to do, and also the voiceover. So kind of fun stuff, and it also shows like where it's going to use the assets. So once I did that, I said, okay, I wanted to make a couple of options. I wanted it to be a little bit more fun. So I put that together. And you can basically change anything you want by having a conversation down here in the prompt box. So this is what we got as the first attempt. Remember, I just added a couple pictures, a very, very brief idea, and then we worked with it in the chat at the side. Let's see what we got. I just need to make sure that the sound, we can just go.
They whispered behind my back, "She's lost her shine. She's just ordinary." I looked in the mirror and asked.
So you can see here, it just used my pictures and essentially just made it into a slideshow with a rather AI voice over the top. I wasn't very impressed. So I thought, okay, what are we doing? How can we make this better? So I went back into it and I tried something different. I can show you that now. And just make this full screen. Okay, so then we go back to here. The next one I did was the hamster telenovela. Oh no, where is it? So the next one I did was good, but it basically did something a little bit strange. So I had asked, this is the video here, I had asked if it could animate the pictures now instead. So I once again gave it some of the reference points and I said, I didn't put in everything. I thought maybe it could generate some of the images as well. And this time I put in that script, the script that my ChatGPT made. So let's see what we get next.
In a world where beauty is everything, one hamster dared to want more, not just a wash and indulgence, because even the tiniest divas deserve the spotlight. Bathe in glamour.
It came up with some different images and they weren't character consistent. And that's really annoying, right? It's one hamster and then another weird looking hamster. It was very all over the place. So the next thing I did, okay, last attempt. Let's see how we can really make this new thing work for us. And so that is where I went back into ChatGPT and I said, okay, I really love it. Can you create all the visual scenes for this advert and make sure that you keep a character consistency? That's one great thing about this new ChatGPT model is it's really good at keeping character consistency. And look, it did. It created us a whole storyboard. So we have the hamster looking out of the window. We've got the hair wash here. We've got then the hamster reaching to the reflection. The only creepy thing is there's a human hand, so we might have to fix that before we put it in. And we've got all of the different aspects of it throughout the script. I love it. So I can go ahead and say, can you just upscale each of the images? So the first image, so it takes that first image and turns it into an image. And I continuously do that throughout. Even with this, if you don't want to do that, you can also download this and then screenshot each individual one. It does export it in quite good resolution that you can bring into a video model already anyway, so quite nice. So now we've got all of the images. I decided to bring it back in and really have a go with it this time. So the other videos were a bit subpar. They weren't so exciting. So I wasn't really expecting much. And while this could probably have do with a little bit of tweaking, I can always edit it by discussing it with the chat here and it revises certain scenes. I can also take it over into their editing model here, which is the AI Studio, and I can add other text and titles and colors and anything else I want to it. But this is what it came up with from the prompt. It's just 13 seconds long. I'm going to turn it into full screen. Can everyone see the full screen? It should be a big hamster on your page. Yeah? Okay. Good stuff. All right. Are you ready for our advert? Let's see what it put together.
In a world where beauty is everything, one hamster dared to want more. Not just a wash and indulgence, because even the tiniest divas deserve the spotlight. Bathe in glamour.
Absolutely so weird. But really quite fun. I was not expecting it to take those images and add the animations straight onto it. It didn't take long to make. Obviously, this was super, super fast. We could have made better images to start with, much higher resolution, could have checked to make sure that the typography was okay. All of these small aspects could have made for a better video. Also, the images that I put through were a different dimension. I could have changed that as well, but I just wanted to test it out. And yeah, some of these tools that promise really amazing things and you get to them and they just come out with absolute rubbish. Sometimes you have to work with them and figure out what the secret sauce is, basically. What can you do to get it to a really good point? And now that I know, I just put in every single scene that I want, and I can use ChatGPT for that, and then I can work with it from there. You get a much better result, so much better. I think before I did this one, I would have said this is the worst tool ever, but now I've done this one, I'm like, there's some promise. I think we could do something with it. All right, brilliant stuff. We got there in the end. I'm sorry about the screen freezing. That wasn't so great, but that is Teams for you sometimes. I hope that you enjoyed Hair Wash for Hamsters. And even if you don't want to make a fun little case study like this is a really great workflow to work on any other kind of company or branding thing that you want to work on. Thank you very much for joining. And yes, I hope you all want to get hamsters now, or at least make your own wonderful product for hamsters. Have fun with ChatGPT. Remember those prompts and yeah, happy prompting. Have a wonderful Thursday, a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.